Hey there, in case you forgot my name, I'm Lucas, and I didn't make many videos or any videos the last couple of weeks or months because I was very busy. However, today I wanted to make a very quick little one because I'm a bit in a time stress here, and it's about a new audio recorder. It's the Zoom H5. So the Zoom H5 is really not the newest one, and actually I wanted to get it as a replacement for my old trusty Tascam DR-40. The DR-40 is a good device. It has a couple of features like the internal microphone that we can change in the settings. We can pull the microphones out, and we have XLR inputs, 2 of them. We have TRS inputs. We have some preamps in it, of course. We have phantom power, 48 volts. However, there are a few things that it doesn't have. My main problem with this device is that you don't have any TRS or 3.5mm input into this device. So you don't have any of those, but also the TRS jacks, the large ones on the XLR combi slot, are only for line inputs, so you cannot hook up mics into these because the level will be too low. What I can do, of course, is buy 2 of these. These are the Rode XLR to TRS jack adapters, but then you have 2 of them in your device and it gets really large and bulky, and this is really not what I wanted. So this is the reason why I want to replace the thing, and actually I already sold it and I have to send it to the new owner tomorrow, so this is the reason why I'm a bit in time stress with this. So the Zoom H5 is a bit larger with the capsule attached. You can detach it. I will guide in this a little bit later in more detail. From the side, the zoom is a bit thinner, but not much. When you look from the downside, it looks like the zoom is a bit smaller, but yeah. The Tascam is a little bit lighter. It's around 50 grams. You can feel it in your hand, but it's not that much. Yeah, and from the pure form factor, they're quite similar actually. What I dislike a bit about the Zoom is the buttons. You have lots of buttons for the playback, which I really rarely use. What's cool about it is that you can set the inputs quite fast. But for example, when I wanted to set phantom power for one of the inputs, I have to go to the menu and head to the settings, and then I can disable and enable the phantom power, and it's actually quite a hassle. On the Tascam, you just have the switch where you can switch between mic line and mic with phantom power, which I think is more convenient for the quick usage. Of course, if you're on set and you only need phantom power, it's not that bad, but actually I do like it a bit more to have it like this. You have 2 modes on the Zoom. So you have the stereo mode where you only record 2 tracks at once, either from the capsule or from the external inputs from down below. And then you can get much higher quality. Like you can get 96 kilohertz instead of 48 kilohertz at 24-bit. In multi-file mode, you can record up to 4 channels from the upside, which is either the capsules or the 3.5mm input, and both or only one of the down below connections. The thing is, what I really dislike about that mode is, I mean, it's cool that you can do it, but the problem is then you only have 48 kilohertz at 24-bit max, which is usually quite a lot and enough. The problem is that the naming conventions of the files then is different. In the stereo file mode, I can choose if I just want to have a name like Zoom 0001 and the name of the track, which I think is bad, or if I want just a naming convention based on the date. So I have the date from today and the time, which makes much more sense to me, which is not possible in the multi-file mode. This may sound a bit picky, however, in my workflow, this really bothers me a bit. Anyway, we are now in the multi-file mode, and as you can see, I just enabled the left and right. This is always the top capsule connections, and now when I just move up the level on this little wheel here, we can see the level is showing up. Of course, we could do this for the down below inputs. I don't have anything connected, so of course you can't see anything. By the way, where we're at it, while I talk, you can see that these lights are flickering. That means that the level is peaking, which is quite good. We had on the DR-40, you had a little lamp on the side of the of the device where it sees, where you can see when it's peaking, but here you can see it indicated by the flickering, which is quite cool. Generally speaking, the wheels to set the level are of course much better than on a DR-40, where you just have like the input level switched on the side where you can pump it up and down, which really sucks because you hear every single click on the device in the recording, and here it's much smoother and you can adjust it much more precise too. So let's talk a bit about the capsule. You can simply detach it by pressing these two buttons and pulling it up. There are more capsules you can buy from this, like a shotgun microphone and additional XLR inputs which don't have phantom power, but still. However, this is the standard capsule that ships with the device, and you have a little input connector. This is the 3.5mm input for mic or line signals, and it also has plug-in power of 2.5 volts. So if you have a microphone externally that needs plug-in power, you can get it from this. When something is connected to this port, these two microphones get muted. So you only record the external ones here, and you can also set the levels then with the little wheel. One thing you have to keep in mind with this recorder is that you cannot simply press record and it records something. Now it reads here, no channel record ready. That means that we first have to assign which channels we want to record. This is very important. So if these lights are not up, you cannot record anything because nothing is able to record, which is quite nice actually. It's a pretty nice thing. One thing is that you might know different from other devices. When you press record, you record right away. Because the thing is, on other devices like this Tascam device or the H4n, I think from Zoom was the same, you have to press record once, so then it's blinking, the red light, and when we did this, then we can see the level. Before we cannot even see the levels of the recording. And then when we press record again, and the light stays, then it's recording. So on the Zoom, you record right away, and here you have to double press the record button. So one thing I dislike about the Zoom is how this capsule is built. Because it's really large, it makes the recorder really large, because when you detach it, it's much smaller. It will still record from the down inputs. You can use it without it, but still usually you don't have anything that you can put on the contact. So you have like to wrap some tape around it or something, and this is, I really don't like this capsule, also because it's really fragile, it seems. So these microphones are actually handled pretty nicely, so they are like a little shock mount around the capsules. However, it makes it really bulky, and what I really like about the Tascam is that you have like these metal protectors, so if I drop it onto this, it won't break. And if I drop this one, or if I have it like in my bag in a not proper position, or it falls into a not proper position, I can easily break the microphones. I bet that. And this is something I really dislike a bit about the Zoom. When you buy it, you get this nice little plastic case where it fits into. Still, I don't think this is optimal because it's a bit fragile. The thing is, I really need this 3.5mm input, so this is why I cannot detach the capsule entirely. The most important thing, of course, for these devices is how is the sound. I have to admit, I didn't check on the internal microphones. They will take properly atmosphere sound, but it's not really for more. For interviews, maybe it could be cool too, but I didn't use it this way, so I did not really check on it. Of course, most interesting for most filmmakers would be the XLR inputs and the phantom power, and how the preamps can hold up, because the DR-40 is known to be a bit noisy on the preamps. So I hooked up my NTG2 from Rode and recorded a little sentence to see how they differ from each other. So what I have to say up front is that I tried to level both devices the same, so I used a little noise generator. Then I leveled both devices to -12 dB on the display, but the funny thing is, when I recorded the tracks and compared the waveform, both devices don't land on -12 dB. So both are a little bit under it, which is a bit silly. What I also have to say is that I had to pump the Tascam to the maximum input level. The Zoom still had a bit of range, so you could get a louder signal from it. So it has a bit more juice to provide to you. Anyways, now let's listen to the recording. NTG2 am Zoom H5. Online is both a noun and a verb that refers to the process of creating the final high-quality version of your film. You online your film, you work on your online, or you are stuck in traffic and late for your online. The term mastering is sometimes used interchangeably with onlining. Chapter 6 is entirely devoted to the onlining process. NTG2 am Tascam DR-40. Online is both a noun and a verb that refers to the process of creating the final high-quality version of your film. You online your film, you work on your online, or you are stuck in traffic and late for your online. The term mastering is sometimes used interchangeably with onlining. Chapter 6 is entirely devoted to the onlining process. So the level was more or less the same. I didn't alter the files in any way, and also in case you didn't hear it properly in the YouTube video, I just will provide a download link to the raw WAV files so you can download them and check for yourself. What I think is that the Zoom has a lot of less noise in the recording, so it's a bit cleaner on that way. It's not much. Something you could probably filter, but still it's there, and clearly the Zoom has the better preamps. One function that I loved about the Tascam was the backup recording. So this was called dual recording, indicated by the red light up here, and this is a great function. So basically what you do is, from any track that you record a second track at -6 to -12 dB. So you can set it to -6 or -12 or -10 if you like to, and records a backup track. So at any point when the signal may clip, you have a backup of that, which is pretty nice, especially for someone like me who doesn't know much about audio or has no time to or cannot properly level the recording while it is recording, because when I click these during the recording, I would have recorded them as well, which would be really bad. However, on the Zoom, you also have this function, but only at -12 dB, so it's always -12, which is fine with me because I left it on the Tascam the same. However, it's only for the left and right inputs. So any capsule that you hook up here up on the top will have the backup recording, but not the XLR inputs. And this is really a bad thing, because this is something I really dislike. Because you don't have backup of your XLR tracks. I mean, it's cool for the internal mics, it's cool for anything that you hook up here, but it's still a bad thing in general. So one thing I didn't talk about is that this device is also able to function as a sound card. So you can hook it up via the USB and use it as an audio interface, which is pretty nice, that you cannot do with the Tascam recorder. So if you have an added bonus if you use this. I don't use this because I have a USB microphone on my computer, but still it's a pretty nice function. What I also didn't cover is any music related features like a metronome or something, because I'm not a musician and I have no idea about these things, and this is of course for musicians, it's an added bonus. For me it's like not really important, sorry. So that's it. This is my very little overview about the Zoom H5 compared to the DR-40, and please really see this as a comparison between the two devices, because it's like not fair as a real review for the Zoom H5. However, I will put a little review in the description that helped me deciding for the Zoom H5. It's from a friend from the Frugal Filmmaker group on Facebook. So it's a pretty cool read, so check that out. Also on the examples for the internal mics, which is a little bit more spot on. So, however, I think I'm done here. So thanks for watching. Sorry that the videos aren't flowing as usual. I'm planning a few things and plan to make a bit more in the next times, blah, 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 blah. You don't know how it goes, but it could still take a while. So thanks for watching again, and see you next time, and bye.